あ、今度は雲か。雲さんのご来場です。これで死なのかな。あった。闇の中で生き抜く。
The dark place is utterly hostile to human life. It eats at your mind, wants you to succumb to madness. Your own thoughts can turn against you. Every shadow conceals a threat that attacks at the slightest sign of weakness. You're under endless assault. Every day is a struggle for survival. But I've learned to take care of myself. I focus on Alice, our life together, my need to be with her.
まあそうだよね。
That takes me a
電
long
池なく
way
な
in
った
the
ら終わるけ
dark
どな。
place. As long as I have my gun and the flashlight.
あとはもうトーマス・ゼインに任せるしかない。
If you die, you lose. If you quit, you lose. If you make it to the end of the loop, you still lose.
何体いる。
Sucker.
おっ、痛い。よし、これ美味しいな。まあここはフレアガンでいいでしょ。どこだっけ。うわ、すげえな。あ、足んねえわ。あ、足んねえ。くそ。どこだっけ。あ、とりあえずオッケー。あ、死んだ。早っ。はい、オッケー。ラスト。お疲れちゃん。戻ってきたー。設計図。
I have created the weapon that can put an end to this. A blueprint to a new reality. All I have to do is survive
新
long
たな
enough
現実
to
の
use
設計
it.
図。
My arrival from the dark place will be painful and difficult. These pages may be lost. But one way or another, I'll send the parts I really need to myself. If I make it outside, I have a chance. Mr. is more powerful than I am, but he can't change the rules in the middle of the game. He's not a creator. I am.
あそこになんかないかな。あったあった。やっぱあるじゃん。前来た時なかったのに。はい。ミスタースクラッチの罠。
The trap Mr. has set for me is as simple as it is impossible. Whenever I reach him, he sends me back to the beginning of the maze. It's a loop in time. I go through it only to end up where I started. There's a brutal genius to it. If I die, it's over for me. If I survive, I end up where I started. Sooner or later, the odds will catch up with me. And in the meantime, he gets to toy with me. But that's why I
まあ
have a
分かる
chance.
ことがあるからね。
He's caught in this pattern just as much as I am. I know where he'll be, and I'm prepared.
さらに原稿も増えてるし。あ、まずいな。はい、
The champion of light knows that the time itself is about to end. At least for him. He can feel the dead end rushing towards him. But there is time to act.
揃ってなかったら
Incomplete or not,
また戻されるの
he
か
has
な。
the weapon.
I don't have the whole thing. But maybe it's enough.
まだ足りないが、マジかよ。フィルムノワールのポスターが見え、赤い消火器がスポットライトに照らされている。まずはオーガストでしょ。うん。確かに2時だったね。変えて消火器がランプの向きを変える。消火器でも照らされてんの。うん。でポスター裏返す。ダメ？嘘でしょ。ちょっとまたダメかよ。ちょっと
You're trying to be cute, aren't you? What are you up to? It's a waste of time, buddy. You should just lie down and die. Let me take over. This is the only thing you've got coming to
3
you.
回目です。
From here to eternity. No matter how many times you come back.
まあでももうちょっとだもんね。もうちょっとだよ。あと1回ぐらいできるんじゃないか。よく見た光景。
Time folds back on itself.
ん？あ、
Again,
Thank you.
his senses
ギフトありがと
scream as the very impossibility of what is happening assaults them. But the champion of light endures. Each time he gets a little closer, each time another detail falls into place. Now the trap works against the herald of darkness.
いやこれでいける。初フレアガン。あれ？うわーうわー。まあでも
Holy shit.
ホーレ
What are
シ
you, King Hillbilly?
でもこいつは多分あ、間違えた。間違えちゃった。こうやっていけるはずだな。あ、マジ？あ、強い。これオールドゴッツ・オブ・アースガルス。
Thor and Odin Anderson, old gods of Asgard. I still don't quite know what
未
to
だ
make
によ
of
くわ
them.
からない。
I know they used to be rock stars who modeled their stage personas after Norse gods. I know they're old. I know that in their day they fought the darkness as I do. I know they're demented and insane, ravaged by age and self-abuse. But there's something in them, something powerful that took hold when they were touched by the powers beyond. A thing that goes far beyond just stage names. Something godlike.
神を思わせる何か。
Right on cue, bubbling to the surface from
またかよ。
untold depths, the horrors come. The emerging monsters do not expect the warm reception that has already been
あれ？もう
prepared
入ってる
for
じゃん。
them.
ハンドルは正しい位置にセットされる。あ、オッケーオッケー。ちょっと待ってよ。これ原稿さ、このステージで足りてる？あ、足りて、巨人？これは一回下に降りるか。後にしとこう。あったあった。オッケーオッケー。バリーとオールドゴッツ。
The Anderson brothers should probably have been in a facility somewhere, despite their tendency to escape from such places. It could be argued that they had no business being on tour, considering their condition. Their lives mostly revolved around the laundry list of ailments
Buddy.
and their endless quest for liquor. but Barry Wheeler managed them now. And whatever else they might say about Barry, he knew how to make things happen. And honestly, it wasn't like the Andersons were the most difficult clients he ever had.
巨人発見って何？スタジオのオールドゴッツ。
Getting the Andersons into the recording studio was a struggle and a half. But once they actually picked up the instruments, something happened. They were two old men, and they weren't. They were doddering bags of bone, and they were barely contained power. And there was music. Barry rubbed his hands together. He knew how to pick a winner. Now all they needed was some direction on how to make things a little more modern. Barry had never produced a thing in his life, but he knew what he liked. He knew Balance Slays the Demon was going to be a hit.
もう神が乗り移ったかのように、音楽の神が表現するんだな、やっぱ。あ、使う？
So, one morning I was running. It was in the fall. It was about 6 o'clock in the morning. It was the sun was just coming up.
There's this huge estate right on the Long Island Sound called the Ziegler Estate, and it's monstrous, and it has these old iron gates that have these. They're spiked, very very sharp. I just stood there. I
これは何の電話なんだ一体？
and then started running home.
怖っ。
Wake?
Emma.
Is that you? I set everything up for you at the oil field.
今生きてるじゃん。
Thanks. Just checking on you.
よかったよかった、まだ生きてる。よかったよかった。またテレビだ。テレビもそうだけど、原稿あったよな。
So I've been thinking about Barry. I don't know what to do about him yet. I mean, I'm not gonna keep him around, that's for sure.
超苦手そうだな俺。
Hanging out with the sheriff from that shitty little town. They keep in touch.
そら、
Stories about
ブレ
the
ーカー。
guy who insists that you're not dead. How about that? Just to see him go to pieces when I fire his ass.
それブーメランじゃないのか？
Yeah. Yeah.
いや。
あった。エマとミスタースクラッチ。
Emma wasn't sure exactly when the man arrived at the motel. But from what she could tell, the party started almost immediately. It was infectious, spreading from one room to another. He was mercurial, almost as if he was flickering through the scene, telling a joke here, throwing an insult there, oozing sex and violence and excitement. She had never seen someone like this before. He looked at her and smiled, and she felt
危ない
her
男には
heart
ときめくんです
flutter.
よ。
She knew he was the kind of man mothers warn their daughters about, but she told herself it didn't matter.
うんうん。
3度目。待って。計画分岐だ。
あい、結構いるな。あら？あれ？見えねえ。
Next stop, saving Emma.
あ、またかよ。使うかな。倒した。あれ、あ、手榴弾くんだ。びっくりした。で、
Is it bad that this time I just went, oh, he's gonna be right along to save my ass?
Not as
確
long
か
as
こ
I
れ待った
show
よな。
up, I guess.
もう一旦。危なっ。 危ない。まだいるだ
Here
ろう。
now.
開いてる。
Yeah, thanks for saving me again. I'd hate to die before I'm scheduled to be
予定より
murdered.
早く殺されるなんて冗談じゃない
I
よ。
have you to thank for setting everything up at the oil derrick.
Yeah, well, I figured that if we were going to go over this again, we might as well try to be smart about it, huh?
I appreciate it. You took a big chance doing that. You okay?
What do you think? I've died twice. I remember everything pretty clearly now. You said I was gonna be okay.
I don't know what happened.
Well, it's not your fault. I think one of those, what did you call them? The takers? I think they did something to the power and they got me that way.
エマはさ、扉閉めたらもう闇のものに殺されちゃうからな。
And I'm not handing them
一緒に来た方
over
がいいんじゃないか
until
な。
you do something about this. I'm sick of getting killed.
Fair enough.
うん、落ち着いてるな。
You seem calmer now.
I tried freaking out. Didn't do much good for me. I guess you get used to the craziest stuff.
Good for you.
Plus, I figured I'd take
賢いな。
the edge off, you know?
Mm-hmm. Those herbal supplements are pretty good, huh?
Oh, yeah.
説明したかったが、
I wanted to try to explain things to you now since you're calmer, but maybe this isn't the best time after all.
Oh, shit, yeah. Better not get all metaphysical on me now. Seriously, I'm like 2 sentences away from thinking how we could all be like atoms on God's skin or something.
Or figments of somebody's imagination?
Wow.
これはまた
I'm just
次の
gonna
ス
try
テー
to
ジで
chill out,
メドウズ博士
not
だけに
think
怒られる
about
な、
that,
多分。
or getting murdered or anything, if you're cool with that.
Gotcha.
ガチャ。ヒューズボックスを守りって何？おおおお、あぶ危ないよ。ちょっと危ない危ない。よし。これね。巨人ってなんだ？
Okay. I really don't think they can get to the power now.
Thank you. That's a relief. Here's the keys that you needed.
Thank you.
Hey, I have to tell you, at the diner, I went there with him. The guy who looks like you, okay? I know I said that I didn't.
Yeah, I figured.
ダイナーで何があった？
Want to talk about what happened at the diner?
There was this guy from the observatory, and he just attacked the poor dude, smashed his face into the tabletop a bunch of times. It was horrible. I didn't know that he was gonna do that. I swear. And I just ran. I just left him there. I didn't even try to help.
怖い
There's
もんな、
nothing
そ
you
ら。
could have done. It's not your fault.
Well,
自分がやられるかもし
he's
れないんだ。
dead in that motel room now, so excuse me if I feel pretty shitty about it anyway.
自分を責めるな。
You shouldn't blame yourself.
I just didn't want to get involved. I have this tendency to just drop everything and run. I don't think I'm a bad person, but I didn't even call the cops. I'm such a coward.
If you'd called the cops, we'd have dead cops. He's not human. Do you understand? It's not your fault.
But I could have tried to stop him.
Believe me, if you had, you'd be dead.
少し落ち着いたようだな。
You seem to be doing a little better now.
Yeah, I guess it just got easier once I got this thing off my chest. I just feel so guilty about it, especially because I didn't pick up on any of the warning signs. I just really liked hanging out with him, you know? He was smart and charming and funny and hot.
あなたもそうなれるのね。
I guess.
I guess.
What's the deal with this guy anyway? He looks like you, he uses your name. Why does he do this stuff?
I'm not sure myself. Maybe he's just evil or my dark half. He does a lot of the stuff I'm trying really hard to get away from. Things that just messed up my life.
I guess all those murders don't help either.
Yeah, I could do without the murders and the end of the world.
もう行かないと。
I need to get
一
going.
緒に来たいよ
Yeah,
な、
well,
エマと。
I think I'm good now. I hope.
Good luck.
信じられない
If
俺
all
は。
goes well, maybe this is the last time we meet like this.
God, wouldn't that be
それって最
great?
高。
Just keep those lights on, okay?
あ、あるある、あったあった、よかった。こっちか。なるほど。はあ、こっちか。よかった。どこ？え？あ、裏？もしかして。あ、裏だ。よかった、見つかって。
Well, art lovers, are you feeling neglected? You shouldn't. You know Eddie Rodman's got love for you.
あった、よかった。巨人。
I have seen the darkness twist flesh into new shapes before, but encountering these giants is an extremely
巨人たち
disturbing
との遭遇って
experience.
何？
It's as if the genre has been switched on me. There's something out of Pulp Fiction. Twice as tall as normal men and stronger than forklifts. Their lumbering gait and
見るからに
slow-witted
愚鈍
demeanor
そうな
brings
動
to
作。あ、
mind
ゆっくりなんだ
some
な。
kind of mean-spirited caricature of a feeble-minded hillbilly.
クロスボール倒せんの？まあ一応エマは生きてたな。よかったよかっ
The
た。
fate of countless individuals hangs in the balance, threatened by the machinations of the Herald of Darkness. And yet, for a moment, the champion of light breathes a little easier. He has saved one life. For this moment, it is enough. And soon,
いや、
perhaps,
下ろしてもらわないと困る
we
んだ
can
よ。
put an end
もう3回目だからね。
Returning to the observatory for what he hopes is the final time,
巨
the
人って
man
なんだろう
feels
な。
anticipation and dread in equal measure. Soon, he knows he will have what he needs.
もう慣れたもんだな。
Hello, I was expecting you. I've already taken care of the imaging array.
やっぱ冷却装置か。
During the primary coolant flow. With some luck, you may be able to light the area before these things even show up.
来るぞ。
Thanks for tuning in for the second part of our interview with Serena Valdivia and award-winning photographer Alice Wake. Now, Alice, we were talking about your husband, Alan Wake. Is that a sore subject for you?
襲われたからな。
A little bit.
Of course it is. The way I see it, we had our good times and our bad times, and on the whole, we had a lot of good times. He really made me happy. I don't mind being reminded of him.
So you're over him?
I don't know if I'll ever be that entirely.
いや、まだ2年だよ、2年。
Every day, literally. It's so
アリス頑張れ。
hoping for.
俺は生きてるぞ、まだ固定で。
Well, sometimes I think I see him just standing somewhere, watching me. I think most people who lose someone they love experience things like that. But on the whole, I'm doing all right. 2 years is a long time to
いや、ミスタースクラッチは接触してないんだな。
type to wallow in the negative.
Well, I know there are a lot of stories about Alan. He seemed to have something of a wild streak.
That's not really what our show is about, though. Look, all that stuff really gets blown out of proportion. He had his problems, but it's really frustrating for me because people like to talk. They love to tell these crazy stories, and they never really knew him at all.
Well, the character he created, Alex Casey, is a household name, and the book still continues to sell. There's been talk of a TV series, a movie, a video game. Must be nice to know that his work is still being appreciated by so many readers.
Yes, of course, but I only deal with the business side. At least that's Alan's agent.
That would be Barry Wheeler. Actually, I just interviewed him. He's currently in the music business, and he's also Alan's best friend. Do you two keep in touch?
なんかあるでしょ? Not regularly. Like I said, he handles the business side. I think we should talk about our film.
Yes, of course, you're right. I'm Eddie Rodman, talking to Alice Wake.
バリの話はダメなんだ、やっぱり。
We'll be right back.
はってなったんこ
The
れ。
atmosphere in the projection
これ
booth
見
at
てなか
the
ったっけ？
drive-in was charged, almost unreal. Despite that, the air felt cool and refreshing this late at night. It'd been a hot day.
なんかまだ終わってない
The。summer was
これ読んで
nearing
なか
its
ったっけ？
end, but it wasn't over yet.
はってなってなんだ。俺見てない。あれこんな見てなかったっけ？新たな現実。断片に。
The film noir poster reminded me of Alex Casey, the detective's cool exterior never cracking even with the gun pointed in his face. In the back room, all the lights had been turned off, except for the lone spotlight which illuminated the bright red fire extinguisher on the wall.
ああ、そうかそうか。もらったやつだこれ。そうだ。